Thank you very much for this wonderful invitation again. Thank you for always including me in ICLE events. It's becoming part of almost my daily briefing, and it's wonderful for that. So thank you very much. Dear mayors, distinguished panel members, dear friends in the audience. You know, here we are almost at the end of Rio+20, and I think we will all agree that what we see as the outcome is perhaps the floor of sustainable development, but is clearly not where we want to be. So what that tells me, again, is that governments are unfortunately somewhat paralyzed, and that makes your presence here today all the more important and all the more higher impact, because it tells me two things. It tells me that even if the governments were to reach a more ambitious outcome, the fact is that what we need to do as a global community is beyond the means of national governments. And secondly, your presence here today tells me, again, that you are committed to explore the possibilities at your level, and that you are willing, able, and committed to pursue the Sustainable Development Agenda. So I very much thank you for your presence, for your courage to speak up, and above all, for your commitment to move forward. And why do I think that it's important for cities to be part of this important agenda? Well, for three very clear reasons. We can name many, but let me just name three. A, because you can be very wonderful guinea pigs, and I don't say that with any disrespect. My staff knows that it's probably that is the most treasured part of my working, is to incubate, to be guinea pigs and to be willing to experiment. And that, I think, is what you're doing. You are working as incubators of new learning, of new ideas, and being willing to fail. Not everything that you're doing is actually going to get where you want to go. But what I see you doing very courageously is being willing to incubate new ideas, to test out innovative thinking, and see how it can be implemented. So I thank you for that courage. Also, quite importantly, I think you all know that in Durban, governments decided that, yes, they will negotiate toward a legally binding agreement in 2015 on climate change, but that at the same time they're going to see how they're going to raise ambition. Well, let's be perfectly honest. It's going to be very difficult for the national governments to raise ambition without a lot of help from their friends. And and I was delighted to hear that there is what you call the greenness of consciousness of voters in your cities, because you know what? If there is one advance of Rio, the first Rio to today, is that any politician, and all the mayors here are politicians, any politician that stood up 20 years ago and wanted to do a political campaign based on sustainable development principles, I guarantee he would not be elected on that agenda. Well, today, 20 years later, maybe we have advanced, maybe we have learned something, because it seems to me that you are proving that through the integration of climate and sustainable development activities in your cities, you are bringing well-being to the voters, you are bringing welfare to citizens, and you can prove to national governments that maybe it is not so politically risky to be on the sustainable development agenda. So I thank you for all of that.